Tell me like a Hellcat.
Okay guys, and welcome back to the second part of my Chieftain look here for Elite Dangerous, and, well, it's pretty good. I took her out, I engineered her up, which is interesting now in the beta, of course, but let's repair and refuel her. What we're going to do today, of course, is take her out for a run here and do some bounty hunting and see how she operates. So, of course, nothing really different at this stage with the ship. Of course, there is new Galnet features, like this. Oh, let's go for this. Okay, I need to use my mouse.
New technology from Aegis. Aegis has expanded its roster of anti-Thargoid technologies with a new device, the Decontamination Limpet. The device is specifically designed to...
So yes, audio for Galnet. Not sure how useful this is for me wanting to sit here in the starport and play the news at me with a robot. I could read it probably faster, but I'm sure there are purposes. If I could dial into it in my ship, that would be an entirely different matter. Now, before we go out, I'm going to just clear off these. So, redeem all. Yep, thank you. And we're going to head out. So, first off, quick look at my systems panel. So nothing really changed here, although I was hoping, you know, that I might see Galnet on there, but guess it's not. Pity. So, we're going to get going. We're at Gamma Gateway in Ross 775, which is one of my favourite hunting grounds. Happen to be only 40 light years away from the beta test system up in Weird. Great place for a beta test, by the way. System called Weird. No irony there, FDev. So, gear up.
Ship released. Clear for egress.
We're up and away. Now, engineered, this ship's a lot more nimble than I originally thought. And they are, of course, going to be doing some buffing and fiddling. But that will all depend entirely on what they do. So, let's go pick ourselves a Hazres. And we're going to head over here to... No, that's on the dark side. I don't like dark side ones. They're a pain in the backside. So...
All clear. Safe travels, Commander.
That'll do.
Frameshift drive charging.
And away we go.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
So yes, off we go now, heading across to one of the Hazreses to go and plink some ships. Weapon positioning, I'm not sure about I like this, really. It feels weird. Of course, this ship's meant to be a similar ship to the Third Lance in terms of being a combat vessel. It's nowhere near as maneuverable. Then again, neither is the FAS, also a popular PvP ship, and good for combat. I don't know. Entirely depends on what people think. Of course, I'm sure, like on the Anaconda, some people are going to cry about the exposed wiring in the ship. I like it. It adds to that military hardware sort of look of the vessel. Oh, hello, best backup. Adds to the military hardware look, the kind of rugged combat vessel appearance. Of course, the Anaconda, people cry, oh, I've spent 150, 200 million on my big credit printer. Why is the wiring exposed? Well, it's an older ship, it's a cargo vessel, it's a... Well, it could be used as a cargo vessel, it's a combat ship, it's an older vessel, it's not a corvette. So, of course, it's not going to be... Oh, this is going to be cutting it close. Too close. Mistakes were made. How far away are we? Oh, hell no. So whilst I wait for my emergency cooldown, I'm going to hop back out and do that, but I like the interior design on this ship. The cockpit here almost feels like a Messerschmitt 109. That kind of tight, very blocky windows. I really like it. The interior spacing feels nice and snug. It feels very utilitarian. It has a very similar feel to the Anaconda, of course. similar design inside, which is nice. It's got that real rugged side to space. It's not all shiny and polished. And I like Imperial ships, don't get me wrong. But I truly like that this is one of the more ruggedy, boxy designs.
Frameshift drive charging.
Now, I believe someone criticised me yesterday, or the other video, for saying that, or saying reptilian appearance and frog-like rear legs on the ship's landing gear. I know frogs are not reptiles. YouTube comments, I read you. I read all of them. No, reptilian is more of its stance. It has a very reptilian appearance to the whole ship. Whilst the anatomy, shall we say, of its landing gear construction is probably inspired by frogs. At least for the rear landing gear. So here we are. Drop back in. Beautiful ice rings here. Get the weapons out. And I'll just show you before we target anything. Okay, so the 3 small up top, the 1 medium and down low. And of course, the 2 multi-cannons up top. Pretty similar arcs of fire, so they're nicely concentrated. Let's see what we can find here. She does drift a tiny little bit. Of course, this is fully upgraded and ready for murderization. You're a miner, so we're leaving you alone. Okay, so what I did, I upgraded the shields to be resistance augmented boosters. All of them grade 3, 4. Nothing particularly too high because I used the resources I had available. We got the overcharged multi-cannons and the rapid fire pulses. We have also got upgrades to the FSD. Jump range with the level 3 is 25 light years with the combat fit on this, so extra armor bulkheads. Grade 5, I expect it would see about 30 light years like this. It's really good on jump distance, and I think this ship would be fantastic if you stripped it out to make an explorer. I've not looked at that yet. You know, here's our first victim. Let's go after a clipper. Something I'd do. Oh, hello. You've got a friend. I'm not touching you. You brought friends. I'm not touching you. No, 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 no. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. We're leaving. What are you? Are you worth picking on? Yes, you are. There's a lot of wings around here. I don't particularly fancy messing with wings. So let's scan our little buddy here. Boop. Hello, you don't need the shields, do you? What I found is this is very maneuverable in combat, especially its reaction thrusters, so the up, down, left, right. Very powerful. So when it comes to blasting someone, you really have a lot of control. You can stay on their backside very easily. And he's launching his fighter, of course, which will irritate us, so let's chew through this guy as quickly as we can. He can't really turn around to get us right now, which is kind of nice. So I'm able to outmaneuver this gunship. Not that that's a great achievement, because the gunship is rarely known for its maneuverability. So we focus on killing him. We're going to ignore his little fighter, because whilst irritating, it's not going to do us much harm, although he is, so... Let's finish him off really quickly, because my shield's about to go pop. And I love the frosting effect from the heat cell banks, of course. They look beautiful. Oh, cock. Well, time to test how well I can... Canopy breach, that's nice. Okay, so everything's breaking at once. Let's kill him and leave. Yes, everything's breaking. Okay, got him. Okay. Time to leave. Because, of course, my oxygen's now depleting, so... That kind of brings an end to our little run around here with the with the Chieftain, I should say. Okay, need to retract my hard points. Let's get out of here. The broken glass looks really nice, by the way, on this. I'm quite impressed. But it is what it is, so... Yeah. Note to self. Without upgrading its extra systems, like, of course, the shields more, Because honestly, engineering the shields didn't do a huge amount. It boosted them from about 300 to about 400, and that's with 2 extra shield boosters at grade 3 or 4, and the resistance augmented main shields. Not impressed. Really, the change in shield strength wasn't very high. The shields for this are not great. I'm not a big fan. So, we'll have to see how well that functions. Now I'm on target. If you've ever flown with the breach canopy, notice a little reticle down here on your screen. I'm going to center the view on it. See the blue ball? Yeah. This shows you your destination point, so you keep yourself in the blue arc, you keep focused on the blue ball and keep it centered, and when the 2 lines on distance and speed are... Why am I not accelerating? No, I am. It's just running out of time. Oh well. So it's embarrassing for a video to get popped by a gunship, but when he focused on me with his fighter, yeah, like I said, the shields are not strong. If you can keep maneuvering on a ship like that, like I was, and it doesn't have a fighter with it, you're in pretty good stead. But frankly, with the shields the way they are, I'm not a fan. You can. I spent the other day picking on lots of things, mostly smaller ships. I took on a couple of FASs and things. Took a couple of gunships, but none of them had fighters. So that's quite an interesting thing. The fighters do a lot of damage to shielding. So that is something to be avoided at all costs, really. Taking on wings, I should say, with this vessel is not something it is good at. It's good at focusing a target it can avoid, using its maneuverability to actually outfly the other ship. Great. In terms of actually using itself to survive hits and fly, not so much. Unfortunately, I'm a fairly experienced Corvette and Anaconda pilot, so I'm used to tanking. I'm a tank pilot. I fly ships that I know I could sponge damage. I will take damage whilst mowing things down with great abandon. This isn't one of those ships. Now, 3rd Lance is paper thin in terms of its armour, but it's very, very good on its shields. Very strong shields.
Lakon, Tango Echo, Romeo, be aware, weapon fire restrictions are in place in this sector. Permission authorized. Cleared to land on pad 3-8.
This is not so much. This is not able to tank damage. The shields are very weak, and the hull also very weak. So, not sure what they expect its role to fit in. It's certainly not a ship I would take bounty hunting if I wanted to make profit. If I wanted to make profit, I'd take something like a Vulture, or I'd take a 3rd Lance,
Make way for larger vessels.
Python, or the usual Corvette and Anaconda. Not this. Right, so I'm heading to 38, so that's on the far there. Okay, so we've got atmosphere. Let's touch down, and we'll take a look at some settings and stats.
Landing gear deployed.
So at least the broken glass animation's quite nice, and the appearance of it. One positive in this rather dodgy little combat sequence where we went in there, shot at one thing, and popped. Yeah, we did discover one thing though. It's not a tank, and it cannot tank. Despite the fact it looks beefy, and that's something you would expect a ship like this would be quite beefy in terms of how it performs.
Landing complete. Engines disengaged.
You know, I'd expect this ship to be quite strong and quite resistant. It looks bulky and squat and stocky. It's not as sleek as a 3rd Lance. You'd think, yeah, this would be a great ship for really... You'd think it'd behave more like the Federal ships, so pretty tanky. No. I've said tanky far too much in a video about spaceships. Anyway, we'll move on. So, Chieftain. Right, what have we got? Hull integrity of 9,000 or 913. Power system upgrades are great. You can really get some extra juice on the power systems. Top speeds I've managed to crank up to 412 and 287. So look at our core modules. Pitch is good, 47.48. 112.46 for roll, 19.99 for yaw. Pretty decent. Speeds are better, but not great. It's kind of Python-y. which isn't fantastic for it. So power, total with reasonable engineering, 30 megawatts, which is fantastic. Loads of power from a 6A power plant. That's actually pretty impressive. Unfortunately, obviously look at jump distance here. Our jump distance at the moment is 27 maximum. So yeah, plus 30, not a problem. You know what? I might actually equip one of these as an explorer. I think that would be a fantastic way of building one of these ships. And you know what? Let's do that right now, because I don't see much need to keep this as a combat vessel for longer. I don't see it fitting into that position at all. So let's sell you. I don't care if you have modifications on you. They're irrelevant. I already have plenty of those. Would it make a good blockade runner? No, not fast enough. Cargo space is okay, but not great. There are plenty of better ships. Let's see what its potential is for an exploration vessel, because I would love to spend time in this. This would be a fantastic ship in my eyes to spend a lot of time in. The cockpit is pretty. Its external appearance is good. It has a look of an exploration ship. It's quite a pleasant vessel. Let's see what we can do with this. Of course, just by pulling the weapons off, we've gained over a light year of jump distance. So we'll get rid of that. I'm going to store the shield, because that's actually not a bad one. Of course, so transfer options, store. Let's put in its place a... Takes a 5 normally, that's a military com... We'll put a size... Where are we? Shields. It's going to request a 4. Okay, so only option to 4A. That's more the station's downside. So we'll just put a 4A in for now. Not ideal. But hey, we'll go with what the station offers us. So we have a decent fuel scoop in there. No real weight to that. Let's sell off these and get rid of some of the weight from the cell banks, and of course the reinforcements, which do add a lot of weight. So we're up to 29 here. Power draw. We really haven't got much right now. So let's go to our core internals, to our power plant. Browse shop, and we will put on a... I wish I had Coriolis to spec the ship out in first before guessing. 4D. Has that done us any good? Okay, so we are under power without deploying anything. We haven't got anything to deploy, so we might be a little close though on this one. So what I will have a quick look for is power distributor, something we can turn down if we need to, but I don't like to. So we don't need the thrusters, but we'll keep them for now. Okay, utility mounts. This is obviously something that's going to draw us power. Sell off the kill warrant scanner. Well, we'll keep that useful. And we'll sell off the shield boosters. Okay, so we're looking at 31 light years at the moment, which isn't terrible. Now, our total fuel range is not something I can see on this page. But I can if I go to the galaxy map. So, let us go to the galaxy map. Let's plot a course for Yanmu, so I'll see exactly how far we can go. Its fuel consumption is not great. That is one thing I do know. Our fuel range is not fantastic. So, it's 182 kilometers. Or light years even. And looking at our little plotted line, we are not going very far at all. That is 1, 2, 3. Granted, those are about 30 light years each, but that is not ideal. You're talking about 100 light years total range. What will adding more fuel to our ship do in terms of that regard? Let's have a quick look at the outfitting. And we'll go down to our optional internals. We will take one of these. Oh, that's not going to help either. Sell you. Get lost. These are military compartments, which are essentially, in our regards, useless for an exploration ship because you can put things you just don't need in. So, not sure why it should have 3. Great for a combat ship, but this ship's combat proficiencies aren't that high. Let's put a 4-size fuel tank in there. Again, this is something I'd really love to see on Coriolis to really check it out, but not on there yet, so that is what it is. Let's refuel her. So at full fuel weight, jump distance not really changed, so potential for adding more fuel tanks. Overall, the ship's mass is just quite high, and its engine's not too powerful, as we've noticed from its speed. So if you could afford to stop, and if you aren't going to get stranded, it's not the worst option. You're probably looking at 150 light years, which dramatically considered isn't awful. I mean, plenty of stock exploration ships have ranges of that, so it's not the end of the world, unlike my Anaconda, which can do 200 light years plus without stopping for gas, which is very useful when you're out in the black. In general, cargo space is difficult with the fact you have so many military compartments. You're limited to really 2 5s, so you're looking at a cargo rack of 32. So realistically there you've got 64, plus a shield you have to take because you'd be an idiot not to, and a 2. And of course the advanced disco scanner, or swap it out for more cargo space. So you're looking at about 70-80 tons. Not ideal. Doesn't move a lot of cargo. Really soft in combat without the weapons to back it up. You can't kill the enemy fast enough to make it being a little softer better. And if multiple targets get involved, you are in trouble. Because what you have in mobility, not in speed, your mobility is quite high. So what you have in mobility is mitigated by the other target. You're in trouble. It's a jack of all trades, and it's not fantastic at any particular one of them. However, is that going to stop me buying the Chieftain? Absolutely not. Look at it, it's gorgeous. I will find a purpose for this ship. I have never liked a ship as much as this one in Elite Dangerous before. Of course, the Corvette, my current favourite, is beautiful, but it's a Star Destroyer. It looks like a classic big ship, even though it's not big. This is a step in a different direction for Frontier and for Elite Dangerous. It's a visual direction I really, really like. It's not what the community expected the Chieftain to be. However, we'll see what it does after beta. This is, of course, I want to remind people, a first impressions look at this ship. This is it in the beta. Of course, the ship will be buffed, the ship may be changed. I don't expect they'll nerf it, because what is there to nerf? It'll be buffed. So, the ship we see in release will be very different, and the potentials that has could be great. Right now, I wouldn't be opposed to exploring with this ship. I'm not really going to fight in it because I don't need to. I have other ships. For its purchase price of, to remind you again, shipyard. Not available at the station, which is fantastic. Great news. 19 million. If you wanted a better cargo ship, the Type 7 is cheaper. If you wanted a better combat ship, admittedly the Third Lance is much more expensive. So for its range, of course this is considering if you don't have the Federal ships unlocked, because if you do, the Federal dropship, assault ship and gunship are in a similar price range to this vessel, all of which can be fully upgraded and made into A-rated versions for under 100 million. I wouldn't choose this one straight away. It's up to you. Like I said, this is a beta review. It will change before it's released. If anybody from FDev is watching this, pick a side. This ship is potentially multi-role, but it has too many military compartments and not enough normal ones to be truly multi-role. But for a ship with so many military compartments, 3 in total, it's got nowhere near enough utility slots. It only has 4. And if you want to have a ship for fighting, you need more than 4 utility slots, because that's not enough. 6 minimum. I'd probably add a 6th slot to this thing, which would either let you have it for cargo or for a bigger shield, because right now the shield strength is terrible. 400 isn't great. It's really bad. Not the best shields in the world over a paper-thin hull. So, FDev, if you are watching, I love this vessel. It could be a great ship for Elite. But you have to pick something it's good at. Because right now, it's kind of undecided. Make this ship great, FDev. I want to love it. I really do. I will buy one regardless, but it needs to pick a direction. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this, and I hope you found it informative. This was, of course, the beautiful but as yet undecided Alliance Chieftain.